G'day! We are back here to have a look at oxygen not included again, so this will be, I guess, session 9. And just see if we can sort of survive and get our food going a little bit better than it has been. So one thing that has been mentioned a couple of times in the comments, I think by the same person, is using insulated tiles. Now, I do wonder if the suggestion here is what I should be doing is insulating, say, this room to stop the heat from up here transferring down here, which will allow the food at the back of this room to be fine. So that is what I'm going to test out, because I think at this point it's more just a test than anything else. So the first thing we want to have a look at is temperature. So in this back part of the room, we're looking at 32 degrees and 30, and so these guys here sort of need to be, I guess, under 30 in order to be happy. So what we're going to do, we're going to try insulating outside just this back corner. Now, let's see what happens. Now, hopefully, because the room itself is actually colder, it means the insulation is gonna, it's not gonna make the room warmer. It's just gonna make the it's gonna actually make the room colder. Hopefully, we don't wreck our existing food. I mean, worst case, we can always pull it out. But one of the names of the game here, I would say, is that we want to test things that we haven't yet used anyway. So it'll be a good thing to try out. Okay. Someone else did mention... Now, another thing that I was thinking about in design, and someone did also mention that, well, potentially what you could do at this point is just sort of scrap it, start again, and take what you've now learnt in order to try and start from a better position. Now, I'm not necessarily certain that I've picked up enough that I'm overly confident that I've done something wrong here that I could then apply to a new one and sort of more confidently sort of jump straight into it. One thing I have wondered about, though, is it I think that I've potentially built incorrectly in that I've built on rock at all. I feel like the ultimate way that you should be designing your building would be that you're purely building on tiles, that you've actually just carved out a huge cavern and everything is tiles, whether it's mesh tiles or airflow tiles or whatever, and that you are just getting rid of this element of all of the stuff involved. Like, say for example, this algae here I could reclaim if I had just sort of like pulled it all out. So that's the one thing that I'm considering about it. If I was to do this differently, would that impact it? Now, speaking of, I can see that it does look like the temperature of this room may have cooled. Now we are looking at 28 degrees and so on. So, looks like that may have been a success. Thank you for that suggestion. And what we'll do is we will plant some farm tiles at the back there, and hopefully we can have more food again. I think I might have already had enough with this setup here. That's fine. Well, no harm in having a little bit of excess food, because we are still sitting very low at the moment. Now, the other suggestion as well was just putting things up that are nice to look at. Let's have a look at what we've got in terms of furniture, would it be? I do wonder too if I should have things like lights. Someone did suggest lights in these rooms as well to sort of help the plants. But it's alright. I need to encourage someone to go picking up all this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I've requested be picked up that is still sitting around. I suppose I could look at... I am now curious, I think, about building at least part of a layout that is purely rooms built for purpose, and that there's no sort of support of rock at all around them. I think this is something I want to just do a quick little experiment into. So what I'm going to do, let's get into those ones, is I'm going to insulate the rest of the roof of this. I'm then going to deconstruct that tile, deconstruct the door, now I guess in part what this is going to be is going to cost resources, which I don't really need to spend. It's probably the biggest aspect of it. It doesn't overly look like a hard worker there, but I think that the yokel. And the other thing that really gets me is I say build, and you can see how many guys show up for the task. It's like, well, there's also a job of picking up everything here, and where were you all when that one was requested? It has made a sort of 20, 27, 28 degrees in there, which is about what we want. We are also going to do a plastic tile here. Okay, then that means that we can get rid of... oh, sorry, we can put the door back. I don't think I need anything overly special about that. Now, one question I have about this, I suppose, is can I try and replace the floor underneath something that already has an item sitting on it? So let's say test this. I'm going to put a carpeted floor tile right there. What happens? Now, I suppose if I go to skills... well, I've got skills points I should be spending anyway. Let's go priorities. Sweeping something in here, or is it storing? It's only Travaldo that's really got it, and he's got a few other things. So let's give Rowan a bit of that priority too. So cool. So I can see that can be done with this just sort of giving that missing tile warning, so I could possibly go one at a time across there to cover the floor underneath something. And what that means, I think, is that I can just get rid of this whole section of stuff above the below this, because that's now isolated. So let's just get them to clear that out. And let's go look at those skills. Okay, so let's try and keep everyone going on a similar path to where they've been. Now he's jumping deep into astronomy there, which is research. And he can have suit wearing and things. So sort of hit this point, I guess that's saying he needs to have done all of this. So let's just give him some improved carrying. We can get you all the way to the end of building. Rowan's all the way done in doctoring. Let's give him some, give Rowan some improved strength for tidying too. Send Mima down an engineering path, and we will send Hassan down a ranching path as well, just so we can start to see what we can do with that. I do like that. I've not much noticed this before, but I can see that that's what that mastery thing is there saying. It's not. I thought that possibly that was saying I could click on this again and give them a double mastery, but no, it's actually saying that there's one person has mastered that, making this certainly an easier thing to look at to see what people haven't mastered, and by that logic, she should do some decorating. Now I realize that Ellie is a digger by nature, so decorating may not be also be his strong suit, but it's alright. Alright, try and plant some more mealwood seeds around as well. We can still see our food calories aren't huge here. Now this is too high that they can't get to it, but what I can now do really is build a second sort of farm area that just goes across here, and I can remove this from being so high up, really, and sort of, yeah, slot it in. Okay. I don't think giving these guys a carpeted room, sort of trying to improve our bedroom, might be nice. But I suppose we can also do it for Stinky down here in his tiny little room. You off to. I get more algae. Now, I'm going to just get rid of my gas pump for now. I think I need it, and really try and look at what we can do to sort of clean up this area a bit. Deconstruct that too. Now, I wonder if there's a way that I could opt to deconstruct all the pumping attached to that. Like, because I don't need any of it at this point. It's all now just... there's a way that I could just view... Sorry, okay. Worry about that for now. Now I would like rooms to... This does feel a bit small for a room. I would like sort of a 3 height. Would be my ideal sort of room height, I think. That looks much nicer, I think, having that little extra space for them. We'll look at what our oxygen overlay is looking like down here. Yeah, there's a bit getting stuck in that section. I think possibly what we could do is just go for a ladder. Is there something sitting there? There is a ladder sitting there, or is it just stuck behind? And what do we have to do? Just ask him to free? Or do we have to just tell him to dig it out? Oh, maybe it's just been digging out this whole time. Okay, cool. So what that should do is now allow that oxygen stuck in here to move down into our more unbreathable mess. Okay, now, another suggestion someone made is that I could get a bottle emptier. Go to rotate. I'm not sure it's going to actually fit in that section there. Just have to cut out more of this roof. So with that in mind, let's try and build a a floor along the bottom here. I will just assign it in a the ones that are okay to be done quickly sort of way. I'm going to do this one here. I'm just curious to see what happens. Does that just collapse through, or do they actually just replace it fast enough that it's not a concern? Cool. Good to know. So what we can do now that we've done that is we can dig out that. Now, it does sort of seem that I should almost look at my level like this is the ground floor. Where my pod is the ground floor, and this is the basement. And if you approach looking at this level like that, that is then saying that everything that we are looking at down here is below ground. No one should be permanently or spending the majority of their day downstairs in the basement. Now, the reason that we're saying that is because this is where you can see the air's a bit more polluted, especially if we look at it in the oxygen overlay. There's a ton of stuff down here, and it might not be good for the guys that are having to work down here in long periods. Now, I can also see that the gas up here isn't extremely breathable, so maybe what we should do is take an oxygen diffuser and put it up in their room. So what we'll do as well is need fiber, raw mineral to get through that. Okay, I can't continue to carpet along the bottom here, but I suppose I can always I assume I can update something after what we could do is say just build across here. I don't really want to get rid of that wall because we don't want that carbon dioxide to come down, so let's just cancel that one for now. Let's cancel that one too because we obviously want to keep that as is. Food calories are definitely looking a lot better now. Part of what I'm doing here is I'm attempting to pretty up this room, see if we can make them happier. Now again, this is a sort of a question I have. If I try and just build a wall on this edge, if I just say build wall before they get that carbon dioxide up and running, will they, will the carbon dioxide get out, or will they actually block it off so fast that it's never a problem? But what we will do, we will build another tile up, and then build across, and yeah, let's build down. Hopefully that's not too high for him, it seems like it actually might be. So what can we do? Is there a way we can temporarily get them to take care of that? Right. I mean, I could dig out under through here. What I suppose we could do is we want to deconstruct that door, construct that, put a arm tile in here. put a normal tile here. And then door can go there. Let's have a quick check to see if we've got more seeds. Great. We can see our food calories now up to 10,000, so hopefully food is now no longer going to be a concern that we have for a while. Okay, so now that this has a solid floor, what we can do is we can, say, dig this out. And as they do, it means that they should be able to build this floor along the bottom below them. The other thing that I was doing down here that I forgot about was if we turn this around, we can put that as a bottle emptier. Wait for that to be built. Someone's starting to stress as well. Ellie's not too happy. Soggy feet, yucky lungs, she's hungry, she's tired. Yeah, I can imagine why you're not too happy there, Ellie. Yeah. Part of the soggy feet will be this part down here, which we are going to try and address. Our next move here. Notice this guy doesn't have power. Where's my wire connection gone there? Did I accidentally disconnect that, or have I just never had it connected? Possibly once I shifted it, I forgot to connect it to anything. Okay. I can say good water, and then this one I can say not good water. Then, this was suggested in the comments too, because then what I could do is I could say I need this water to be cleaned up. Mop liquid spills. There we go. So what should hopefully happen there is that this liquid will now get picked up, and then I can say sweep, and then they'll actually put it into this water as opposed to into that one. And then similarly, what I could probably do is then knock down this wall. Or I would put a path, put a few blocks here, block this off temporarily, knock this out, and then have the water run down and through here, and then just say mop up and let the rest of it get picked up. I think there's almost enough space in here for that much water. I think that's a big fun project that my guys are going to take on in a moment. Okay, cool. So you can see that we do now have our roof here, and what we'll do is we will dig out those 2 extra ones to get that final corner. And let's try and put some nice things up in here. So I think firstly, we're going to want to put some oxygen up here. You can see the oxygen isn't too great in this section. So give them a two ceiling lights. See if there's anything else in here that might be good for. Hang a couple from the ceiling to try and make it a little bit nicer in there. A little bit further away from the light. I'm not sure if it does anything, probably not, but yeah, that spacing's a little bit right. Give them just a nice little corner molding up there. Alright, let's give them some variety up here of just random things that we've found that we can put in, and then we also just need to do our electricity. Straight up the ladder. And we'll just wait to see if we can uproot maybe 2 plants that are just sitting around. Just uproot a few things that are about, and we'll see what we can put in there. There's a few bluff fire, so great if we can get to that one. I think we can probably do by just sending that out. I wasn't looking when it happened, but hopefully the water did appropriate to the correct spot down here. No power. Oh, it's still the wires here aren't yet connected, that's okay. Yeah, we'll take a shiny bug. It's nice having our little shiny bugs flying around, lighting everything up. We've got 2 more briar seeds that we could put in there, but it'd be cool if we could find some of the other plants to give them a variety. I'm not sure if it's an Joya or a Spore Child seed. It does feel a little living on edge having a spore, something that's got spores in it, sitting above you. Okay, so certainly current project is, let's get this wiring finished. And I do realise the irony of putting lights in the only room that they don't want light in because they want to sleep. Yeah, still lots of sweeping that just isn't getting addressed. Bit over here. Down here. Okay. So we'll make that a Murph seed, and then we'll make that one a Briar seed. What's the oxygen looking like in there? That's much better. There we go. So at least they're sleeping in a spot. And I assume that I know that some have said that like less breathable air they breathe more of. So potentially if they're sleeping and they are needing to breathe more, that's probably a fair bit of their time that they're spending in there. Probably good to fix that. Now I think this whole area here I might actually revisit to remove and rebuild out as sort of more functionally square rooms. I mean, most of the stuff in this doesn't get used much anymore, and then it's just the mess tables at the end. So we can try and work out a better location for the mess, even if it is just, say, right here, immediately underneath where they sleep. And then we could possibly look at putting one of the bathrooms up here. I mean, what we could do with the bathrooms is just put a deodorizer in each room, and that'll probably help them a lot more. I think this here is just because this is a long flat section where it's got nowhere to escape. But what we could do is I could start to use more of the airflow tiles that allows air to escape out the bottom for the air that they're not, like the carbon dioxides and whatnot. Okay, lights are on. So, I think this is the point where we're going to try our major relocation of water. So what we will do is we will go... Alright, so we've got to wait for that plant to get out of here. Actually, cancel that build. Changed my mind already about where that is. Because we want guys to be able to walk up in there, so we'll go 1, 2, that's our build. I do want to get rid of all that gas pipe. And it possibly could come in handy in the end anyway. This is this ladder is almost the major network of my layout, so I do want to keep that obviously. And gas surely should be pumped in some capacity through that. Now that I'm building genuine rooms on this, where I'm sort of like gridding off the whole section, I can start to see the way that you would possibly do oxygen here, that you would have a room somewhere that is dedicated to making oxygen, and then you have a ventilation system specifically designed that it only pushes oxygen through it, and it takes it to the other rooms, and then the carbon dioxide and whatnot gets pulled back into that room or into somewhere else to sort of try and clean it, move it, and sort of shift it on. Like it, I haven't looked at how anyone else has played this, but that does make me really feel that you could have some really incredible looking layouts in this game. Alright, so what we are going to do is that. And, oh, pause for a second. Somehow, San has found himself on the wrong side of this. San, how'd you manage that, buddy? Alright, let's just cancel this briefly. And we'll say dig that. We can sell that one later. San, can you get rid of that? And get rid of this one, dude. Here. There you go. Okay. Now I'll have to... let's go back to priorities for a second. 9 was highest, I believe. And now just gonna have to check a ladder in here just for someone to get out. Stinky. Alright, so now what we can do is we can deconstruct that ladder. Hopefully they do it from above. Keep an eye on them. Hopefully. And then what we can do is another tile here. Waiting for Stinky or someone to come down and take care of that. Yeah, there he is. Great. Alright, and now what we can do is say dig out those 5. Now, I'm not sure about saying dig out all 5 actually. Let me cancel that one and that one for now. We'll go all 3 because what I want is for them to sort of not be hit by an absolute torrent of water. Either way, this feels like it's going to happen, so let's hit that one. Because then what should happen is that sand should collapse. And, hopefully we don't kill Ellie. Alright, out you go, Ellie. Possibly I would have been better off getting rid of that higher one, because I realized Ellie was going to get hit with water anyway, and I also recall that Ellie's been standing underwater for long periods before without too much issue. Because just in case this isn't enough room for all that water, at least it would have stopped like at a higher point if I'd done it for that fertilizer. So look at our research. Let's just kick in something major. It'll be close, but I think that this water should stop before this overflows. There we go, a transfer of water. Now, I wonder if possibly what that's done is just sort of shifted that unbreathable gas elsewhere. Because this was taken up by a lot of that, and looks like it might just be this section here now. Looks like we've done okay though. Today will be the last day, I'd say, of this particular game. But next time, we're starving. We've got more food for days at this point. Now, possibly what we do want to start to look into is pickling some of our food, just because we do have so much of it that we now don't want it to expire. I mean, on 10,000 calories probably isn't that much. Yeah, actually, I'd say you're right. Whoever's already just said it out loud or thought it while watching, probably nowhere near enough. So, I'd say this evening is the last night of this particular run. Some really interesting sort of moves, I think, particularly with my lovely looking new thing. But that max strength is still going up, so definitely that's going to be something we need to address more of. Those who are Rivaldo now. He was certainly stressing out. And what we'll do then is next time we'll see if we can rebuild this section down here. And till then, we can hit the pause button. I'll say catch you later. So next time, till next time, see you later.